Hi, I'm Andy Hills, Superintendent of Schools, and we're here today for another episode of Striving to be the Best. Today we're focusing on our Department of Technology, and our guest is our Director, Phil Luthman. Welcome, Phil.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here today. So maybe Phil, start off. Tell us a little bit about your background and how long you've been part of our district's administrative team.
I've been here in Wadsworth serving in the technology department and on the admin team for 13 years, so 2012. Before that, I've worked always in technology, private sector. My degree is in management information systems, which is the perfect marriage between technology and business. So my goal is always to know what technology exists and how to bring it to bear to solve a problem. So that's been my training, and almost 30 years in this career. So
very good. And I know things have changed a little bit during your years here. Can you tell us how is your department structured now?
Yeah, there are 6 of us all together. There's obviously myself, then we have a website content manager, we have a technology support specialist, we have 2 system security admins, and then a network engineer. So that's in addition to, there are 2 tech integration specialists or tech coaches, but we'll get into that too.
Okay, so tell me then, with those positions, who is part of your team?
Yeah, so Sarah Kershaw, she is our website and content manager. She has been a part of the team and and we're going to talk about this, has been a critical part in revamping our website. She also is cross-training on tons of different tasks that we do just in the district technology-wise. We also have Riley Davis. He is our latest hire, and he's tech support specialist focusing on the classroom and devices that students and teachers use. Then we have Andrew Tufts. He is our system admin / security. He does a lot of managing overall systems, as does Michael Keithy. He has that same role. And then Mike Hostetler is our network engineer. And so the glue that holds everything together that you never see, that's his world.
Very good. So I imagine, and have a little bit of insight on it, I imagine that it's a challenge to navigate the day-to-day troubleshooting along with the kind of long-term strategic planning, thinking for the future.
Yeah.
And even within the world that you live in, how do we even define long-term with the way things change so much? So can you talk a little bit about how your team balances the here, need help, troubleshooting in the moment versus forward thinking for the district, and how far is too far?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So we start out the year, we actually have just been working on it this month, of developing our goals for this coming summer and the 2025-2026 school year. And so we try to look further out and then plan our projects accordingly. We will frame the year of support that we provide to the district. Inside of that plan, sprinkled throughout, is support. And so support meaning a teacher's interactive panel doesn't work, a principal's phone doesn't work, a student's Chromebook doesn't work, and that is our main task, and then goals are filled in around that based on targets that I've set for completion. So how do we prioritize it? Whatever is disrupting instruction the most is what we'll focus on first. And so if a teacher is depending upon a specific technology to teach a lesson and none of it works, that's very disruptive. And so we jump into action right away. And if something can wait, we will prioritize that secondary over the more urgent stuff. We have a help desk where staff members submit they need help on things. That comes to myself and the entire team, and we all look at that throughout every single day. And if there's something that we all need to collaborate on, we just come together in the department and say, hey, this is going on. Who can run to this building and fix this right now? And so a lot of collaboration, a lot of discussion, and an on the fly, every single day reprioritizing is what we do. But long term, the longest term things that we do are 10 years out for network infrastructure that it just has to last that long because of how expensive some of it is. But the world is always changing in terms of what we're going to utilize. So we ride a very interesting thing where we try to see what is coming, what's coming in the next 5 years, and how does that impact the goals that we set right now. So it's a fun challenge, but I love it. So
that's great. You guys are definitely busy. There's no doubt about that. So can you talk a little bit about some of the bigger projects you're working on? I know a lot of the things that people see are the forward-facing stuff to help with instruction, troubleshooting those things, but there's a lot that happens behind the scenes too. If somebody looks at our strategic plan, a lot of those big items are things that support that network that happens behind the scenes too. So
Correct.
Talk a little bit about what are some of these big things right now that you're working on?
Yeah, one that we just completed last summer was everybody relies upon Wi-Fi, and it's become this assumed that it should just always work flawlessly like the lights and the water, and that's our goal, just to be invisible and have it always work. We replaced every single access point in the entire district in 2024 over the summer. That's a larger project that people normally wouldn't see, they just use. And so this year, a lot of our projects are focused around the new Wadsworth Intermediate School. So staging computers that the teachers are going to use there. We've purchased those and we're setting those up now. Wireless access points that need to go into that building, extending the network infrastructure. That's been a large task that Mike Hosteller has been working on to essentially create a new network way out there from the high school and get things up and running, because contractors are starting to require that to be there already, even though the building's not done. So Wadsworth Intermediate School is by far like our largest focus this summer, and it's gonna be a busy summer. That's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But
we have a lot happening this summer between
We do.
our new intermediate school building, the administration building making its move,
yep,
the expansion of our Grizzly Academy,
Yeah.
Clearing out the current intermediate school. Is just a lot of moving parts, and your team definitely plays a vital role in that. So you talked about Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about the enhancements that are planned to take place at our Wright Stadium?
Yeah.
Sometime hopefully before we get into August.
Correct. So it is no secret to anybody watching, myself included, and everyone at Wadsworth, that when you go to a football game or another sporting event, cellular connection isn't great no matter who you have. And so with so many people there, we want to solve that problem once and for all. So we have already made arrangements with the city, and it's already approved and contract, all of it's done, to extend our school network to our Wright Stadium. That's a 10 gigabit internet connection, and which is phenomenal. That is going to provide outdoor dense coverage Wi-Fi for the entire property out there. In addition to that, the folks in the press boxes, they'll have building Wi-Fi as if they were in one of our school buildings. We're also going to have school phones, school computers, and school managed cameras for security and safety. And so all of that is coming. We're planning down to the minutia of having a creative menu for concessions powered by internet that we're going to put there outside the concession stand. So we're really excited to really bring it into current times.
It's fantastic. So another area that your department is heavily involved in is our camera system. Mm-hmm. And so I know that recently you kind of embarked on a process to evaluate a number of different systems.
Yeah.
To help fulfill one of the final parts of our current strategic plan to do replacements at our elementary buildings.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about what we selected and maybe some of the safety components of how those things are mm-hmm. an important part of our overall safety plans?
Sure. So the camera system that we selected, we have Cisco, probably everyone's heard of that. Cisco at the high school and the middle school, and that was the first vendor that we looked at. And they have a very good piece of hardware, but there are other contenders. And we looked at another company called Verkada, and I had looked into them, I'd say about 6 or 7 years ago, and didn't feel that the company or the product was really where it needed to be for us to adopt it. And so we chose Cisco then for the high school, middle school. But through this round of evaluations, what currently came out on top was Verkada, and it wasn't even close. The one thing several things that I'm really excited about is everything with the cameras are controlled by a web page. Whether you're in the district, out of the district, a website, that's how you get to the cameras. And that's similar to Cisco, but what else is different? Verkada has an interesting platform through which they sell time. So a lot of camera companies, and there are a lot of brands that we looked at, they all sell based on the amount of storage capacity in the camera, how many gigabytes or whatever is on that camera. And then it's up to you to manage how much that stores. And with Verkada, they said, nope, you can just buy this camera for 30 days. And I said, well, what does that mean? They said that means 30 frames a second, every single second of every minute, of every hour, day of the month. You have 30 days. And I'm like, that's impressive. No matter how busy the camera is, we will always have 30 days on every single one of those cameras. And moreover, these cameras, traditional camera systems record the footage and then it goes to a server somewhere in the building. These do not have that. All of the footage is recorded on the camera itself, but a one-up, even better than Cisco, is that all of the Verkada cameras, they record their footage local to the camera, and then a copy of that data is stored in our private cloud with Verkada as a backup. So in case that camera was damaged or destroyed, we don't lose any footage. And that's a value add that Cisco charges a fortune for, and Verkada says you could just have it for free. So the fidelity is 8.5 times. There's 8.5 times the data there. So it is, as we joke in our department, you watch CSI or these other shows where you just can picture it, a bunch of people looking around a computer screen and somebody says zoom and enhance. And then they say it again, and it always looks perfect. That's kind of what Verkada is like. You can keep zooming and enhancing, and you can still make out exactly what's happening in the frame. It's spectacular.
That's great. You know, the cameras are such an integral part of our systems here. You know, it's not. It's amazing how frequently we need to go back and take a look at footage, and so nothing more frustrating than when we do that and it's either not good footage or the footage isn't there. Yeah. So you know, we've made some huge strides with the Meraki product, and we're excited about what's being installed with Verkada here.
Yeah.
So we appreciate the work on that. So in regards to instruction, Phil, you mentioned earlier technology integration specialist. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about what does that position do?
Yeah.
Who are they? And how many do we have as part of our team? So
right now we have 2. That would be Jeff Marini for the kindergarten through 6th grade, and then we have Elizabeth Davis for 7, 8, and then 9 through 12. And these are expert master teachers that understand the demands of the classroom, the standards that need communicated and taught. And so I view them as sort of, in technology we talk about the last mile, the last little bit of a long project. My team, we can definitely create the network, stand up the Wi-Fi, provide the internet, provide the servers, provide all the apps, provide the access, provide the device. But then when you get down to it, if you have a teacher in the 5th grade with science standards and they heard of a new online tool, but they're not sure how to take that online tool and bring it to bear to teach the kids what they're going to need to learn according to the standards, that's Jeff and Elizabeth. They are experts at deciphering what teachers would need to teach and all the scope of tools that are out there. There's so many. And they're experts at even knowing what educational tools exist that they can use, both free and paid, to engage learners more, make it more exciting, make it more dynamic. And really, I would say, I think Elizabeth has said this a lot, but Jeff has as well, that we want to use technology not to just replace paper pencil just because, but we want to leverage technology to teach and do things in a way that you could never do unless you use technology. So it's doing things that are impossible unless you leverage the technology is where we're really laser focused on.
Very good. You know, those positions developed as part of our strategic planning process. Our current plan had in for the technology committee to kind of explore that possibility and make a recommendation to the board. So, you know, so much of what it is that happens not only in your department but throughout the district is really decided as part of that long-range strategic planning process that we're in the middle of right now for the new plan that will start in January of 26. And so, you know, there's an opportunity that's out there right now for our community to be able to provide feedback. All feedback is reviewed and is part of consideration as the board starts to get into each of those areas to create that plan. But our strategic plan is very much an active document that we regularly use. And there's plenty of examples scattered throughout our interview here today that really were generated through that process. And then the work happened once the plan was put in place. So in speaking of that, another item that the board kind of had a hyper focus on with the last or current strategic plan was our website and wanting it not only to look at the look of it, the ease of navigation, the accuracy of information that was there, a variety of different things. So since that plan was enacted in 2021, a lot's happened in regards to the website.
It has.
So can you tell us about what has changed here with our website over the last few years?
Yeah, happy to. So the website was hosted by a company that was getting sold to a larger company. And we were excited about that because the larger company, Final Site, offered a fresh new look. The interface we liked. We liked some of the capabilities. We know that 60 or more % of our viewers on the website are mobile only. So the majority of people are looking on their phones. And so what does this experience look like on your phone? And we went through a redesign process and we were excited to launch it. But if you take a look back, far back to when I started, we've gone through just about every possible template of how to update things. We started with having the website be part of one staff member's responsibilities inside of a slew of other things. And it wasn't her full-time job at all. It was just whenever she had time. And people, myself included, so many people said, it'd be great if we could distribute that so that everybody could have access. We're like, well, that's something new, let's do that. And so we made distributed access to principals, secretaries, teachers. And again, it comes down to everyone is so hyper-focused on their area and it's not their sole responsibility. And oftentimes they're like, this is just one more thing, I just can't get to it. And very legitimately, our principals, our secretaries couldn't. And so the distributed model was a good idea, but in actuality, our website continued to get more stale, older information, outdated photos. And so through conversations with yourself and others, we were like, well, let's do something different yet again. We've never had a person that we've hired and it's their sole job to update information on the website. And more than just update, but really revisit each page on each corner of the website to see, does this need updated? Does this have the latest newsletter? Is the calendar correct? Because some people love Instagram, some people live by Facebook, some people don't have social media at all. So we want everyone to have the opportunity to see pictures of their kids, to know what's happening in the building in one reliable place. And that became Sarah Kershaw's position. And so she goes to events routinely in the buildings to take photos, to observe different events and write about it, to have items on the different websites, news and updates. It's really spectacular. She does such good work communicating. And that's really what it comes down to, is having one person that can communicate with so many different people in every single building every single day. And that's what she does to get the information out. It's no longer a burden of a specific teacher that just says, hey, I can help out. It was, you had a great event, send me those photos and I'll take it from here. And that's been a large key to our success, in having a single place that we know will always have the most updated information. That's been the goal. And in concert with that too, just to make the website look more interesting and to highlight our district in ways that, and from vantage points that you don't normally see, we've added aerial photography, different seasons of the year, different aerial videos as well. So really trying to step up our game to match the excellence that happens in the classroom every single day in all buildings. We want our website to really reflect that excellence. And I feel like we've made a lot of strides to get there.
Yeah, Sarah's done a really nice job. You know, we expanded that job by coupling it with what she was already doing as the clerk in the technology department, and she's really run with it and done nice things. Where our hope is that our users are finding the system to be not only more easy to navigate, but also more meaningful, whether it's content, pictures, whatever it is. So that's what we're striving for, and hopefully our community's finding that that's the case.
Yeah.
So Phil, we got a couple minutes left. Is there anything else about your department that you'd like to share with us before we conclude?
I think that just to let people know that the mindset of our department, the technology department in Wadsworth City Schools, we are so pleased and happy when people have problems. And it may sound funny to say, but we exist to further instruction in the schools. That's why we're here. And so to remind our teachers, our staff, that please don't ever be embarrassed or afraid to say, hey, I have a problem and this isn't working. I actually love that. That's why I'm here. And our staff are so kind and appreciative. We fix problems as fast as we possibly can. And they're like, thank you so much. This was incredible. And I'm like, they pay me to do it. It's fun to do. And so that's the attitude that I want to engender in the department, is that we want to be approachable, friendly, kind, and we love it when you don't know what to do, because that's why we're here. So in the team, we have a really great rapport with each other. We try to teach each other, learn from each other, and build each other up. So if one member of the team doesn't know how to do something, it's fine. Let me show you. If one member of the team hasn't encountered this, like, well, come on, let me show you how to do that. And so we build cross-functionality so that one person isn't pigeonholed into one thing. And so we can have a lot of redundancy that way. And then my other goal is just, this is like the most engaging technology position I think I've ever even heard of, because being inside of companies, private sector, I've never seen a place where you can work on a Chromebook one day and a network switch and a phone system the next. That doesn't happen in the private sector. And so our entire team gets exposed to things and we get opportunities to learn on technologies that we normally wouldn't get. You get hired at a private company, you're going to work on PCs, and that's it. And here it's like, what do you want to work on? We'll teach you on how to do everything. And so I think that's a very motivating for every single one of our staff on the team, and for me. It keeps things interesting, and every single member of the team would say every day is different, quite honestly. every single day is different, and that's what makes the job so wonderful. So.
Well, fantastic. Well, Phil, we really appreciate your time today and the work that you and members of the team are doing. So please make sure you thank them.
I will.
On behalf of all the employees and students here in the school district. So until next time, thank you for your continued support of our school district, Wadsworth.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.